Everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiowa, and Sugaree peoples. My name is Ann Lakaitis, and I will be the worship assistant this morning for Cosette Blackmer. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation, which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and members, we're very glad that you are here in person or with us online, and we hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. Our announcements for this Sunday: Reverend Amy is away for study leave and professional development until June 3rd. If you have a pastoral care concern, please email joysandconcerns@puuc.org and email bot@puuc.org for any other pressing needs. Today after the service, there is a Point of Pride letter writing event. Everyone is welcome to stay and write postcards and notes of encouragement to trans folks with messages of being seen, supported, and valued. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you are on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
I breathe in the warmth of this light. It's glowing, filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out tension that I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community. It's a sanctity of diverse voices and shared purpose. And I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak the truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and for justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing that we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Now please join me in singing our Chalice Lighting. The words are printed in your order of service. For our call to worship this morning, I invite you to please rise in body, mind, or spirit and turn to page 550 under the reading section in your gray hymnal. I will read the bold type if you will please follow with the italicized. Please rise if you are able. This we know, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth.
This we know. All things are connected like blood unites one family.
All things are connected.
Whatever befalls the earth, befalls the sons and daughters of the earth.
We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it.
Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves.
And now please turn to number, 361 in the same gray hymnal. As we will sing Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. We'll sing all of the verses this morning. Please be seated. And now it's time for our story for all ages. I invite children young and old to come forward and join Madia for our story this morning. Oh, sorry.
You're fine. Good morning. It's so good to see all of you. We have some other friends who might be coming in now. There we go. Come on down. All right. So, the theme for the month of May is imagination. The past 2 weeks we've been doing a lot of imaginative things. Last week some of you were with me and you helped me figure out what to do with some random items I found in my office. Today, I want to see what your imaginations can come up with this. So each of you are going to get one of these sheets of paper. They all have the exact same thing drawn on them. I'll hold it up nice and high so then the grown-ups can see too. They all have the exact same thing drawn on them. So I want you to think for a second. What could this be turned into? Oh, could be a hand. Anything else that it might be?
An udder.
A splat, an udder for a cow. A splat of paint. A turkey. It could be a bunch of different things. So what we're going to do, we're all going to take a marker. I have a bunch of markers here. We're all going to take a marker. You can swap with each other. We're all going to take a marker. We're going to finish this drawing.
I know something.
Yeah? Draw it out. And then when we're done, we'll stand up and we'll show them off, okay?
They actually know that this is a turkey.
Oh, it's a turkey foot. Okay, well, draw that for me. So we're all going to take some time to finish the drawing. And something that I really like about this activity is how we've all started with the same line. We've all been given the same squiggle. But because we are all unique and we are all different and we're all special, we're all going to turn it into something a little different from each other. Because our brains are all different and we all have our own imaginations, which is what makes imagination so fun. is when you get with other people and you put your imaginations together to create something. Yes, Miss Cosette.
Is there a way to do this wrong?
There is no way to do this wrong. Because your imagination can't make this, like, there's no wrong answers with your imagination. You can create whatever you want when you look at this squiggle. I gotta think real hard about what I want to turn my squiggle into.
I'm almost done with mine.
Well, we're going to give everybody a little bit of time, especially because I just started drawing mine. You guys aren't allowed to make fun of my picture, okay? I worked real hard on it. Safe space, no wrong answers. All right. I'm gonna give you like 5 more seconds to finish up your drawing, then we'll stand up and show it off, all right? If you're not done, that's okay. You can finish it back in the nursery or after RE is done. Woo.
I'm drawing my hair.
Okay. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's stand up and show them off. What did we make? That's okay if you're not done.
Oh, a dinosaur.
I made a spotted dinosaur. What did you make? Is that a turkey?
See what I did?
What'd you draw?
I drawed
A vat.
yep.
A vat. Turn around and show it off to everybody. What'd you draw?
I drew a porcupine.
A porcupine. Very nice. Going down a hill. Very nice porcupine. Oh, these look so great. All right, you can hold on to those. You get to take those home. I'm going to collect our markers. Let's make sure the caps are on really nice and tight. Click.
I clicked mine.
Thank you so much. Clicking them all the way down is how we get to reuse them. Thank you. All right, I'm collecting the markers, and we're going to stand on up. And the big kids are going to come with me to RE, and our little ones are going to go into the nursery and play and use your imaginations in there.
And now it is time for our sacred sharing. At this time, our ritual of sacred sharing will be a time for sharing our joys and sorrows and our concerns and milestones. First, we will light a few candles, one for Mindy and Jess, who were married on Thursday. We light a candle for Teresa's sister, Emma, who was in a car accident recently. We light a candle for Little Feather, who is having surgery on her back this week. For Ron F., who is dealing with cancer. Susan B. with health concerns. For Eric D. and his family, as his father has been hospitalized with health concerns. I'm thinking more broadly, we're going to light a candle for the ongoing recovery efforts for all those impacted by Hurricane Helene and the fires in California. For the immediate relief for the people of Gaza. For all areas of violence around the world, especially Haiti, the Sudan, the Middle East, and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. And we will light a candle for our country, that we may continue to work towards creating a society filled with love, empathy, civil rights, and justice for all people. At this time, you are welcome to come up and fill out a prayer card, drop a stone in our shared water, or light your own candle of joys or concerns. The worship assistant will hand the candle to you if you wish to light a candle, and I invite you to please follow the outside wall as you walk towards the candle lighting. At this time, we will light a few more candles for those things that we hold in our heart that remain unspoken, and for all of those joining us from elsewhere to honor what is in their hearts as well. This morning for our meditation, I would like to share a reading from Thich Nhat Hanh, Our Peace is What is Most Precious, followed by a moment of silence, and then we will have our musical meditation. Awakening is something that happens today, not in 10 or 20 years. Insights can come continuously to give us understanding we need to untangle ourselves from attachments. When our mind is entangled with anger, jealousy, or sadness, we can be in that state hour after hour, day after day. It's a pity because, meanwhile, life is wondrous. If we only concentrate on breathing in and seeing that our body is a wonder, we can see that nothing else is really important. It's only the peace in our body and in our mind that matters. Anyone can attain this insight. While we sit, we can be with our breathing. We can let go of tensions. We can have peace. This peace is the most precious thing there is, more precious than any pursuit.
Our wisdom reading this morning is entitled Planting Seeds by Louise. Think for a minute of a tomato plant. A healthy plant can have more than 100 tomatoes on it. In order to get this tomato plant with all these tomatoes on it, we need to start with a small dried seed. That seed doesn't look like a tomato plant. It sure doesn't taste like a tomato plant. If you don't know for sure, you would not even believe it could be a tomato plant. However, let's say you plant the seed in fertile soil and you water it and let the sun shine on it. When the first little tiny shoot comes up, you don't stomp on it and say, "That's not a tomato plant." Rather, you look at it and say, "Oh boy, here it comes," and you watch it grow with delight. In time, if you continue to water it and give it lots of sunshine, and pull away any weeds, you might have a tomato plant with more than 100 luscious tomatoes. It all began with that one tiny seed.
Friends, it is truly an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to share with you today, and I am very grateful. I also have one question for you. Do you believe in magic? Of course, there is the kind of magic performed by my favorite magicians, Penn and Teller, who artfully employ sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, and ingenious props to fool us into disbelieving our own eyes. These illusions are magical because they appear unexplainable. Illusions like these are one of the definitions for magic that you will find in Merriam-Webster's dictionary. They also define magic as something possessing a supernatural power or coming from a supernatural force. But defining magic can be a little tricky. It really depends on your perspective. The word can invoke images of everything from kindly fairy godmothers to evil witches with warty nose. Thank you very much, Walt Disney. But these images of witches have been with us for centuries and are currently being perpetuated by movies and stories and other popular media. Real witches are folks that you might encounter every day. And, well, they're not playing Quidditch, and they don't sport magic wands. Not usually. Today, a person who identifies as a witch might practice magic utilizing rituals, incantations, and spells to influence an outcome. The practitioner focuses their will or their intention to create change. And for me, magic is a state of awe. I see magic in everyday things, like the changing seasons and how the bare-boned trees that we just had out here just a few months ago in wintertime become gloriously dressed in green. It's a delight for the eye and also provides shade on hot sunny days like today. Trees offer camouflage and safety and shelter to birds and other tree-dwelling creatures. And when they are in full leaf, trees pull harmful carbon dioxide out of our air and provide oxygen. Though I am not a scientist, I do have a basic understanding of photosynthesis. This fills me with awe, and it feels magical. One of my Unitarian Universalist peers back in Frederick, Maryland, would bristle at the very notion of magical or spiritual. He was a very rational person with a scientific mind and would challenge me anytime I spoke of such subjects. I would tell him that I don't dispute science. In fact, the more that I understand the workings of the universe, the more I am in awe of it, the more it feels magical to me. Now, I practice paganism. I have for over 30 years. My spiritual path involves honoring these cycles of life and the changing seasons, things like the phases of the moon. I also celebrate the all, capital A. The all that is, the web of existence of which we are a part, is sacred. Paganism in general is a general umbrella term that includes many different traditions, such as Wicca. Each tradition may practice a bit differently. Through the years, I have not found one specific tradition that neatly fits into what I practice, and I generally call myself an earth-centered spiritualist. The term earth-centered spiritualist is more broad and accessible, and when I use it in public, I don't encounter hostility or being called bad names. Many witches, but not all, practice a pagan tradition called Wicca. One of my Wiccan friends described his practice as using one's will or intention to enact change. Well, today the word intention is part of my everyday vernacular, but in my youth I would not have used that specific term, but I certainly utilized the concept. I often worked as a waitress. I am not a good waitress. I tend to be forgetful. I tend to get rattled pretty easily. And to make matters worse, I tend to work slower than most of my peers. Often, our guests that I was serving or even my employers would get upset and angry with me, and this in turn further negatively affected my performance. The best solution that I found was to intentionally put a smile on my face. Not necessarily a forced smile, but a genuine, relaxed smile. And while I smiled, I felt more confident, and people responded to me more positively. Studies have shown that when you smile, even if it is forced, your brain responds by releasing dopamine and endorphins, which can help elevate your mood. Whether I understood the science or not, I knew from experience that if I intentionally smiled, my work shifts, waiting tables went more smoothly. I also learned that taking a moment to breathe helped me to focus. I have practiced that today. Although the word intention was not part of my regular vocabulary then, I do set daily intentions today. I meditate with daily mantras that remind me to live intentionally, more grounded and more centered. I also set intentions in ritual space to affect change in my life. According to the author, Dr. Wayne Dyer, there is a universal intention, the all that is, or web of existence, as I stated earlier. But Dr. Dyer states that some would call this force God. I prefer spirit of life or universal life force. This universal intention is the creator of all and sets in motion that which created each of us. We are this creation and work within it. Further, each of us can use this intention to live up to our full potential, or as Dr. Dyer would say, live on purpose. The idea that we as individuals can change ourselves and the world around us with the power of our minds is certainly not a new one. Just do a search on the World Wide Web for power of the mind, and dozens and dozens of books will come up on the topic. Even if you consider this pop psychology, there is something to be said for changing our perspective about a situation or desire, and having a new focus may help us to actualize what it is that we want. In the example of my waitress experience, I managed to change the outcome of each day by smiling. I changed my mind about how I was going to respond to the situation, and that in turn altered the outcome of my day. If a person wants to create a change in their life, it is helpful first to imagine that new outcome in detail. The more specific you are about it, the more specific you are about the change you wish to have happen, you are likely to increase a better outcome and be able to more successfully reach your outcome. All right. Let's see. It also helps if you state what you desire in a positive manner. I know some of us have a hard time staying positive, but most of us do have a hard time, but we can all change our minds. It usually takes time to reframe one's thinking or override negative thoughts, but sometimes these things can come quickly. I remember a sermon delivered by one of my first visits at a Unitarian Universalist service. It was a Mother's Day sermon, and, well, I almost didn't go that day. Mother's Day is often difficult for me, as I'm sure it might be difficult for some of you. And I was having a particularly hard day. But I had visited this congregation in Frederick a few times before, and they had been so kind and so welcoming, so I went. In his sermon, the Reverend spoke about the mothers of the Unitarian Universalist Church. He included Unitarian Julia Ward Howe and how she wrote the Mother's Day Proclamation. If you haven't read it, it's worth a read. From that day forward, the second Sunday in May no longer held such a negative connotation for me, and I was able to release a lot of the pain and grief that I held on to regarding my own mother. That sermon opened my heart and changed my mind about Mother's Day in an instant. Okay, about 20 minutes. The Reverend helped me to reframe my thinking and open my mind to celebrate all mothers. Sometimes our minds can change quickly. Maybe being exposed to a sermon, a podcast, reading material, or having a deep conversation with a trusted friend can change your mind. But most often, change does occur over long periods of time. Recently, I read an article posted on a website, Very Well Mind, that stated that we are hardwired with negativity bias and tend to look for danger or dwell on the negative. One reason for negativity bias is that for millennia, our ancestors were vulnerable, and this innate bias served well as a safety mechanism. It helped our ancestors avoid serious injury and sometimes death. But now that we live in a safer environment, we no longer need to be constantly on alert. In fact, a strong negativity bias today can be detrimental to our health and our relationships. Studies have shown people that think positively live longer and recover more quickly from illness. And our brains are more powerful than we know. We were talking about that this morning. My memory might not be powerful anymore, but we can all intentionally take steps to focus on the positive. For me, that includes taking walks, journaling, and meditating. When I meditate, I repeat positive mantras or phrases. Repeating positive statements like this, even if at first we don't really believe them, can help to build new neural pathways that over time can override those negative thoughts. Our wisdom reading this morning was an excerpt from the book You Can Change Your Life by Louise Hay. Her metaphor of a seed becoming a tomato plant represents our efforts to stay more positive. At first, you may struggle, but over time, with a little water and a little sunshine, your efforts can create change. I follow this idea when I work in ritual space as well. I focus on reinforcing the positive in my life. I may use tools like candles, crystals, and prayers to focus my intention, but I imagine positive outcomes for myself and any others that may be involved. One phrase I end my ritual prayers with is an adaptation of Louise Hay. May this or something better manifest in positive ways for all concerned. If you have ever attended one of our cups rituals that I have led here, you may have heard me use that statement. CUPS, C-U-U-P-S, stands for Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. We do have a CUPS chapter here. Beyond offering seasonal rituals and celebrations, we host a book club that explores different traditions in paganism and have started hosting occasional drum circles. Hope to get that more regularly on our calendar. For our congregation to host a CUPS chapter, at least 2 members must also support National CUPS. We have to have at least 5 of our members join National CUPS, and then they'll waiver our congregational dues. My intention is to grow our chapter and be able to waiver those dues. So I encourage you to check out cuups.org if this is something that you might be interested in doing. If you become a member of National CUPS, just mention that you're also a member of PUUC. So in closing, I do have an intention for each of you. My friends, today, may your desires manifest in loving and positive ways for all concerned. Blessed be.
Thank you, Anne. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This month, we are sharing our offering plate with 7 directions of service. 7 Directions of Service, or 7DS, is an Indigenous-led collective rooted in environmental justice and community organizing, operating on the ancestral homelands of the Occaneechi-Saponi in rural North Carolina. Our mission is to protect sacred places, advocate for the legal recognition of rights of nature, and establish a land, language, and cultural center grounded in traditional Esau teachings. 7 Directions of Service is committed to serving as a powerful voice for the lands, waters, and the interconnected, more than human world. Our host will pass around the baskets, and we ask that you pass the baskets down your row when you receive it. You may place your gifts in the basket as they make their way around the room, and you are always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we thank you for the gifts contained in these baskets and for all the gifts that you offer this beloved community. Now please join me and rise in body, mind, or spirit, and we will sing together number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do, in our Till hymnal. It has some words written down at the bottom there, sing, dance, laugh. We'll just sing all those each once through and go back to do. gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you gotta shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers that made our worship service possible, including Ann, and especially to Jim, who remains an unsung hero of our congregation and fixed our clock this morning. Thank you very much, Jim. Now at this time, let's take a moment to give thanks, all of us, either in our hearts or aloud, for the things that we are grateful for today.
I'd like to ask people to send happy thoughts. I have to rehug my dog.
Please send happy thoughts to Gail H.
I'm thankful for magic.
Thankful for magic.
I'm thankful for the chaos of the tie-dye party, and I'm thankful too.
Thankful for the chaos of the tie-dye party yesterday. It was an auction item hosted by Kat.
Well, I'm thankful for Cosette.
Well, and I'm grateful for all of you.
I'm thankful for all of you being here for me to join.
I have a visitor who's thankful for that we are all here and welcoming. Okay. For our closing, I'd like to share these words by Susan L. Van Dresser. Let us sing the magic of imagination by which we know one another and live our lives of eras gone by. Let us sing to the magic of creation by which we build the world of our soul and teach its wisdom to others, young and old. Let us sing the magic of our lives together, holding and shaping by movement of breath and from heart to lung and all new life that is to come. Go now singing, go now with magic in your fingertips, touch this world with life. We now extinguish our chalice, but not the light or warmth or meaning that comes with it until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we wander. May it be so. Hold on. Somehow in my editing, I've lost a little bit. Now that the chalice extinguished, I invite us all to share a closing hymn. We usually join hands in a circle, but if you care not to join hands, you can always put your hands over your heart. And I'd like to ask that everyone please return their hymnals to the cart over by the piano before you go. Thank you and blessed be.